And roll, where real rock and pop stars lark around playing themselves. Former Libertines member Carl Barat is in the new episode of Svengali with a whole host of other music stars set to take part. The web-based show's already gained a bit of a cult following on YouTube. Let's take a look.
Any chance of getting back together, like, or?
It's a bit more complicated than that, really.
Is it, like, over for good, or? Because, like, the thing is, like, bands like yours, they come along, like, once a generation. It's like great boxers or great footballers, you know, like Zidane. That's the kind of band you were, like, do you know what I mean? You should think about getting back together. You should, oh, do you know what? Yeah. Listen to my band, right? I'll listen to them.
Yeah, mate.
Just put it in your pocket, mate.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Right, listen to them. I'll tell you what, if you want somebody to sort it out for you, give me a shout. I'll put the Libertines back together.
Yeah. All right,
you know, I feel like we've connected a bit. Do you feel like, do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, cool, man.
Joining me now is the creator of the show and shameless actor Jonathan Owen, and former Libertines member Carl Barat, who stars in it as well, don't you?
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm going to start off with you, Jonathan.
Okay.
Where did this idea come from, making fun and a parody of rock and roll stars?
Well, I was in a band myself in the mid-90s called the Pocket Devils, and we had a record deal. We were nothing like, obviously, the Libertines, but so I knew the world, you know, and I had a manager of my band, whose name was Dixie, that I love dearly, still love, who just never had a bad day. He was sort of, you know, indefatigable, never stopped. And I just sort of had an idea of basing a character around him in the current world of rock and roll, really.
And what attracted you, Carl, to a show like this?
Well, I was flattered to be asked, and I always did fancy a bit of acting.
Yeah, a bit of a thespian, you?
Maybe.
You've been at college, tell him.
No, I didn't pay much attention at college, but yeah. And it's I mean, it's not too far removed from how it really works. And, you know, I think in the business is full of people like his character Dixie, and quite lovable. And yeah, just fancy being a part of it, really.
Yeah.
Will you be dragging your former bandmate, Pete Doherty, to the show as well?
Not personally.
I might as Dixie.
You might.
Well, I mean, when I originally sort of did it 8 weeks ago, me and my mate hanging on the street in London with a camera, and the two other lads involved, Dean Calvin and Phil John, we thought we'd shoot it and see where we got, and we got Alan McGee involved, who was his ex-manager. And when Alan McGee got involved, who was terrific, he opened up his contacts book, and I went through all these people, and the first person I seen that I wanted was Carl Barat, obviously. And Alan said, "Are you mad? He's, you know, the Libertines, like, you know." And I said, "No, I really want Carl." So he said, "Okay, well, you know." And Carl, I sent him the stuff. He's seen it, loved it, and he's a really terrific actor, actually.
So
as well,
who else can you get from this contacts book?
I tell you what, it's all to be revealed, because once you open Alan McGee's contact book, it's sort of the world's your lobster.
Give me some names. Come on, throw them at me.
Well, you know, I'm obviously going to go for Gallagher's. I'm going to go for...
Go for the Gallagher's.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to go Russell Brand. I'm going to try everybody, really. Joaquin Phoenix, all sorts of people. There's nobody Alan doesn't know. It's him I want the first, though. I got him. I got him.
You got him. You're touching him as well.
Exactly.
I just say it's true to life with these characters, you know.
Your industry, Carl, is probably one of the only industries in the world where bad behaviour is actively encouraged. Do you think that's fair? You know, would you play up to all of this in the show?
So. It's a bit of give and take. I mean, yeah, I think the legend's always more celebrated than the truth. Yeah. And I think that's, I think it'll probably be embellished for your show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I did walk, I've never done this before, I walked down Oxford Street with Carl Barat yesterday, and there were like women wave into him off the tops of buses and things. So there is kind of a lot of truth in sort of, you know, what you see, sort of the lives they lead, you know what I mean? And he's very sort of down to earth and grounded, fair play to him.
Who, Carl?
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, honestly, I'm just really surprised. But I
prefer thinking of him as a bad boy.
Well, you know, maybe...
You just told me not to be on the telly.
No, I said don't be a bad boy on BBC News, but be a bad boy off it.
Oh, give us a minute then.
Yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Why make a show for the web? Will it ever get onto TV?
Well, what I thought, you know, YouTube is just full of kids falling off skateboards all the time, you know, and that's what people watch. So I thought, put something of, you know, real quality on there with good actors, good directors, good writers, you know. I mean, the actors we've got so far, you know, sort of Sean Harris, Jodie Whittaker, and get really sort of, you know, proper rock stars that people love and admire, like Carl, you know, and Bonehead and Maggot, and people will watch it, you know, and that's what's happened.
I'm kind of into the sort of kamikaze aspect of it more than the sort of, like, the celebrity thing. I can see why that's funny and that's part of the plot. But I mean, just the way that it's kind of based on improvisation, like Curb Your Enthusiasm and that sort of show. And I think it's really good. And, you know, with YouTube, you can do what you want. And
we are going to say, I mean, the thing is, I've bypassed the commissioning process because we've done it and funded it ourselves, and people do it for nothing. They do it because they love the project. And I don't want to, you know, say, go to the man and say, do you mind if I do this? I can do what I choose. So I stand and fall by it, really. And so far, people really liked it. And I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. I love Entourage. and I want to do like a British mix of the two, you know, with real people like Entourage does. And London is still the capital of rock and roll as far as I'm concerned. So even the, you know, the set can be the streets of London, Soho, you know, the Marquee, all those kind of places. You know, people recognise them all over the world, whether you're in America, Australia, or a kid in Osaka, Japan. If you see that and you see Carl Barat walking in the Foundry where we filmed, they love it, you know, and that's what's happened.
Well, good luck for the show. I've got to ask you last thing. Are you going to get back with Pete for the Libertines? Come on, tell me. Just say yes. Give me an exclusive.
Maybe next year. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe if it's right, you know.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, boys. Thanks for coming in. And that's all the entertainment news for now. I'll be back just after 9:30 with lots more showbiz for you here on BBC News. Do you join us then? Back to you, Joanna.
Thank you very much, Tasman. See